You are tuning in to Jon Pierre and Mary's fun-loving, crazy, and honest podcast.
If it don't smell bad, it must be clean.
Unequally Yoked, where any and every topic, life,
Marriage.
I'll go first because I have something to say.
Uh-oh.
kids, and entrepreneurship are up for discussion.
How does Mary, a pastor's daughter,
And Jon, a guy who rarely saw the inside of a church growing up, get together
No.
and stay together.
We all have roles.
what does life look like 10 plus years into marriage?
2 kids and trying to run a family business.
How do we keep this nest egg from cracking?
What you mean?
Listen in to Unequally Yoked as we dive in to give a man
Next. And a woman's perspective
Somebody back me up on
Nobody.
to all the topics married folks are talking about.
this. Are you ready?
Let's do this, boo.
Hey guys, welcome back to Jon Pierre and Mary's Unequally Yoked. We just decided to jump right back into this conversation where we're talking with our friends Shaun and Bridget about raising our kids and being unequally yoked.
And trying to make it work with them.
Well, I hope it's working. Is that working?
Of course it's working. What are we talking about here?
Wonderful. Thank you guys. Welcome back.
pressure.
For those of you who are playing our drinking game where you hear the DJ horn, we apologize in the last episode. There were probably only one.
Like one, maybe
However, I still drink. So, do we want to start off with another cheers?
two.
Sure, why not?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I didn't get to cheers you either.
Oh, cheers, cheers.
I
didn't
didn't
cheers
clean. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm nervous about breaking things.
So
Yes.
where are we picking it up at? Where are we starting with?
One we ended on, which I thought was great, because in the beginning we were just talking about the religious aspects of being unequally yoked.
Yes.
And then Bridget dropped a bomb on us. She was like, wait, it's just not about religious, it's about a cultural background.
Yeah.
It's about, and then Shaun brought up the fact that he was raised by a single parent. Like,
Right.
there are so many other
Mhm.
things that we bring into our marriages and our relationships that, like our upbringing, like all that just comes with
All
us.
of it. It's that big old bag of baggage that
Mm.
we bring into our marriage, and I think that makes it has a huge impact on what happens over the course of time, right?
Right.
So
Well,
yes. So with that said, let's get into the whole culture thing, because I know when I was there as a part of y'all's wedding, we did some things I had never seen, never thought of. That was probably, man, it was the most amazing
it was amazing.
experience that
I was a
ever.
girlfriend. Then.
I know.
You sure were.
Well,
Yeah.
so I mean, I was gonna say the thing about it is, so until very recently, to me, the religion thing wasn't even an issue. Like I said, until very recently, for
Yeah.
us, it's always been the cultural things and kind of thinking of the things that, like, when you first meet a person and you're looking at him like, oh, he's so into his family, and then you're like, oh, well, what does
He's
that
so
mean?
into his
yeah,
family.
you know what I mean? And so it's interesting because, like, I grew up in a household where, it was mom, dad, and then my siblings. And
Yeah.
it was just us, our little nucleus. My parents are originally from Nigeria. And so the majority of our relatives at that time when I was a kid, they don't live in the U.S.
Gotcha.
So it's just the 5
Nuclear
of us.
family. That's it.
Exactly. So there were no grandparents to go to in the summers. There was none of that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so...
For Chap.
yeah, that's...
My mother is a single mother, attorney since 1972. So like when the summer came, first of all, my sister's not actually my sister. My little brother has Down syndrome. Like when the summer came, she shipped us off. We were in a cousin's house, so we were sleeping. They got 6 siblings, and they got 2 or 3 more. We're our family is a big family.
Mhm.
Right.
And it's like 3 of us in our house from the beginning, but our family is a big family. And my mother's like, she's different now, but from like back then, she was like kind of a matriarchal type of thing.
Right.
So it's like for me, like anytime like my wife didn't, like she was like, you got to go do this. I'm like, my mom would have did that 10 years ago. Like, and it's like weird. Like she's like, well, but my dad would have done this. And so that's the thing that would never come up because my dad would have never done anything, right?
Well, no, not he would have. He just did not do anything. Like there was no. There was no would after that.
Right. So that's very foreign to
background.
me. So, like, the baby's here, but then we have to make sure that we can, let the baby get used to being away from you. Like,
Yeah.
why? Because
Yeah.
it's
your baby.
I
It's
don't.
your baby. Right.
Well, even the cultural stuff, like the wedding almost cost us our marriage, right? Like, we enjoyed it, but the wedding itself, like, I was like, and we talked about Catholic. We do the religion thing. So Catholic needs to be performed in a Catholic church by a Catholic priest, or approved by a Catholic priest, or spotted by a Catholic priest. But I was in that stage of my life where I was Catholic still, so I wanted to do these things, but I didn't care because I was in that stage where I didn't care. Right, so it was like a lot going on.
Yeah.
But then, this is gonna sound weird, but her family, as it were, had input in how the wedding itself was going to take place.
Yeah.
Right, because in Nigerian culture, it's not just about the couple, it's really joining of two families and the community. And so there's a lot of different things that's
cool.
Come into it.
I'm sure it wasn't cool then.
You know what? But family-wise, I had this big family, but really, when it came down for that culture stuff, John and Jackie and Umaymay, these are my family too. So we exchanged the yam for Bridget, and so I'm thankful for you helping me to get my wife. Right?
Yeah.
When I saw that trash bag full of money, I said, if we get married, we need to figure out a way
to incorporate
that into
get sprayed with
our
money.
celebration. So what they did, you guys, his friends, y'all made it rain.
Basically, at the reception.
Yeah, at the reception, and we appreciate that.
And that was amazing.
That was amazing. That's our tradition.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that was cool, man. I think another part of just taking cultures, since we're talking about kids, is how do you incorporate the ideas and things that you were brought up with, and then the things that maybe you were brought up with, but also the things that you weren't brought up with, and the things that you want to bring into your right. So how does that affect?
Or the things that you didn't want to bring, like say your mom was single parent, you come from a very strict background as far as the cultural perspective. You guys, just like us, you then say, like, I don't want to do whoopings.
Positive and negative influences are real. So, So my mother smoked. I never ever was gonna smoke. I really never was gonna ever drink, but
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers to alcohol.
That didn't work out that way. But so I succeeded on the smoking, but I also knew that the way that I wanted my family to be produced was in a house with a marriage, one woman who I projected into the future to be beautiful.
Right.
Like, so like the first dates, like I'm like y'all are trying to figure out, when your breath is gonna stink. I'm like, how's she gonna look after 3 kids? That's what I want to look like, or 7, like, cause I'm down for the cause, right? So I was worried about projecting forward beauty and character issues, but that's kind of like.
And I can vouch for that because that was
conversation.
Absolutely, that was a big deal for Chap. Yeah, so I remember.
Seems like he's a big picture kind of guy. Versus maybe she ate something with onions. Maybe she ate something with garlic. Like, dang, you gonna tell this girl I never see you again? Your breath stink after eating salad? That's a man. Thank God I ate. I ate nachos.
First of all,
that's not a good.
There's a difference between food breath stink and guttural breath stink when it comes from down here.
She just needs to cleanse,
right? Yeah, then you should have cleansed before you came.
I will never see you again.
Can't mess with it. So yeah, I mean,
we gotta eliminate people somehow. We're gonna pick one of these.
We gotta get to one.
So how do we become better? Not judging our parents. How do we become better parents than our parents?
Well, I mean, I think that when you're talking about like our parents' generation, things were just, they didn't have the internet. Yeah. They didn't really have anything to fall back on based only what they saw, what they knew worked from personal experience. And so we have exposure to all these different ideas, and we know that, okay, no, I don't have to do it that way. I can do it this way, and it can still work. So that's a big benefit. But at the same time, it could be a double-edged sword because then there's so much. And so you really have to say, okay, but no, I don't want all of that. Like, this is what we believe, and this is where we want to go. I mean, you can never guarantee how the kids are going to end up, but at least this is where we're going to try to guide them.
Yeah.
And, do our best.
For me, my mom was the best that ever did it. Like, I'm saying, like, no,
That's wonderful.
Wow.
like,
Big shoes to fill.
No,
Yeah.
but
No pressure.
No. I'm saying, like, that's the way I feel about like her effort with executing what we had. Like, so.
But you knew that then, or you know that now because you have your own household?
I knew then when, you know, they had the fathers versus the coaches basketball game. She say, you mean parents, right? Like, so I'm like, go get you a layup, mama. Like, you know, so not only that, but I have a little brother who's 10 years younger than me, and he has a different mom than I have, and it's the same lady. So my mom from 0 to 10 was a different lady than anybody ever see do it. Like, so all those kids that we went to go visit, they came to her house too, and we was going to the movies together, 10 deep, 15 deep in the station wagon, going to see stuff we wasn't supposed to see, doing stuff we wasn't supposed to do, pillow fights, jumping through windows, you know, children of the corn, like all kinds of stuff we were not supposed to do, but ready for the world. So, you know, that's kind of, so when we talk about,
because it plays out because
parental differences.
I was very sheltered. And so I'm like, but why do they have to know how to like survive jumping through a window? Why can we just not?
Can we just not?
We just keep the windows locked, or you know what I mean? Like I'm less risk tolerant than he is about things. You know, so
I think that's cool. Yeah, I think it's important. And the cool part about it is, whenever you bring those different experiences, whenever you bring Shaun to the table and you bring Bridget to the table, and then your kids get the mix of all of it, I really think it helps them diversify and understand the entire scope of what, you know, your partner can look like, what life can look like, all these things that we always worry about. But we because, you know, in the end, like, you look back on your childhood, there's 3 things that you probably wish never would have happened. And then there's like 3 things that you probably think you wish could have all the time, right? But your parents don't know what those 3 things are because they were just doing them. You know, like, I don't want my mom, like, you were big on not smoking. For your mom, that was just part of her life.
Right? Your mom was a smoker.
Part, you know,
last year.
Right. So it's like, it is part of her life. And so smoking, she never would have thought, you know what, I'm going to smoke so that my kid will never smoke. That's not how it works. She just lived her life, you know, but that's something that you took away from it. And so we're never going to be in control of what our kids take away from us. But when you guys have the ability to give them this entire scope of what life can be and the different ways you can think about it, then it gives your kids a chance to really pick and pick the best, hopefully.
But that's why I would say when they say opposites attract versus the first date when we're trying to find what we are
like have in common.
Yeah, what we have in common, it's like what attracted me to him was that he was completely different from me. Is that I am a little high strung. So there's a little bit of drama there, and he's very laid back, and he's very analytical, but he's thoughtful in his laid backness. Like I'm just like, man, he's just so smart, and I did not feel very smart. I know now that I have a purpose.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Cheers to purpose and all that. Yes.
All those things. But now at 36, I'm going
36.
Okay, grown and sexy.
Baby.
What? Oh, because all of y'all, that's not my fault. That he wanted, you know, someone with the, you know.
That's a good body, John.
You know, I mean,
Get the body. So he saw.
He projected forward too.
Didn't even know.
Was worried about the breath, but he got something real good over here.
Look at God.
Look God. Okay.
This guy that some of us believe in, some of us
don't.
Won't Willie.
But I have been going on not just a spiritual journey. I've been going on just an insane journey when it comes to being a parent. And it all started when I had Harper. I learned forgiveness with her. I learned what real love is, like true love. Not saying you're not, because Harper always saying, she goes back and forth telling us that we're her true love. Like, it just depends, like, who gives her the ice cream first. She'll be like, Patty, you're my true love. And then she'll come to me and say she's my true love. But I really learned
She's probably telling the truth both times.
She probably
is. She is the human I want to be.
Right.
And it really is because it's both of us in her. Just like in your kids, like whatever our differences are, is what I'm saying is we need to know as parents that we are doing a good job. We are. Like,
But
we
everybody's not. That's so.
we are doing a good job.
Okay. So I'm down with us having confidence in ourselves, and I'm down with us questioning ourselves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say that when you talk about thoughtful, that's the thing that our relationship with our friendship is on.
Mhm.
Like the fact that the non-believer believer concept allows some opportunity for debate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And y'all have, I'm sure, have had debates over your 20 plus years
Of
of
course.
friendship. And it wasn't a deal breaker.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I decided he wasn't going to be my wife.
I appreciate that.
But people want to hang around other people
that-
who are like them.
Well,
right?
I would say, but the thoughtfulness is where we're similar.
There's
Like,
so
so
many
we
different
consider,
We consider the person.
like, so
Right.
the ability, like, transfer of perspective is like a superpower. Like, to be able to see what somebody else sees is basically not around. So if you can say, hey, the reason why he's thinking this is because he thought that before, or he's based upon this worldview, that makes perfect sense.
Right.
And then if we think from different worldviews and still come to the same conclusion, that's a beautiful thing. So that, like, even with our marriage, our kids, we want them to be thoughtful. You guys have the things you say. What we say in the morning is be kind, be gentle, take care of ourselves, take care of our brother and sister, learn something new, and do our best.
And
That's
they say
ours.
that every morning.
So not anymore. But
when they were really young.
But,
Yeah.
but I can start anywhere and they'll finish it, right? So
Yeah.
it's in them.
It's in them.
It's in them,
So-
man. That's
so-
it, yeah.
So that's in them. And we read, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, the one that probably was read at, half the people's wedding. So we read that. So, and in
What's
the
the
end,
scripture for those who don't know?
it's love is patient, love is kind, like that. All that stuff is
Okay.
not self-seeking. That's not
Look it up.
having boast.
That's what he's saying.
There are different versions depending on where you like, but
Gotcha.
different words.
Yeah.
But in the end, it says, but there's faith, hope, and love, and the greatest of these is love, right?
Right.
So the greatest of these is love. So we're a love family, and we work through what this is.
And that's something that is really important for me is like just knowing that no matter what, no matter how they mess up, we love them. And that's something I do tell them every night before they go to bed. I'll be like, I love you no matter what. And even if I just got through yelling, like, if y'all don't turn these lights off again. Okay, love you no matter what. Good night. I know, right? But I just want them to know. Because sometimes
we agreed on whipping.
Right.
Oh, so y'all,
well, that's a whole.
There's a whole other thing.
Yeah, because I don't necessarily know if we agreed on it, but it's just something that from our childhoods we just did out of habit.
Yep.
But with our oldest,
So y'all both got spankings as kids.
Not only that, I'm glad that was pretty cool because we actually agreed on not whipping. It didn't work.
right? But
Y'all agreed in the beginning to not whoop.
Yeah, we weren't smart
Not
enough.
spank.
Y'all are smart enough.
Yeah,
Y'all were able to
to-
But the thing is, after the first child, we really realized that it didn't really get the results we wanted. So with our other two, we actually really don't. And actually, we don't really with any of them. But with our other two, we were like, okay, actually, that was probably a bad call in the first one. Okay, sorry about that. But I was trying to change course. We're practicing on her.
Yeah. You're offering grace.
You're offering grace.
A lot of
You know, and other things. And so, I mean, and especially that's why I was kind of piggybacking on when you know more now, because just looking at the love languages for children and seeing how your children are different. Our oldest daughter, her love language is physical touch. So when you're spanking somebody whose love language is physical touch, then I feel like you're creating a whole bunch of other things.
Because children have love languages too. We all do.
That you then have to correct because they're not feeling that love like they should. And so it's just, kind of brought up a whole bunch of things. So we really actually don't spank that much, I mean, it's really not as,
Yeah.
Do you think our parents would have been different parents if they had the information that we have?
Otherwise, they'd have wasted whatever the information is. Like, the information should inform your actions.
Influence, should definitely influence what you do.
But what about the experience? Because I think about the conversations that I've had with my mom where it's, she got spanked, so she's like, I'm just doing what I know. But it's like, don't you remember how I felt?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I didn't get a lot of whoopings in my life because I was a big girl.
my girl.
Okay, I was. And
You want a DJ horn for that one?
yes, I do.
No.
Thank you, good girl.
Buying that.
I didn't get a lot of whoopings because I figured it out. I just tell the truth. And I'll just deal with the consequences.
See, that's different.
it.
I figured it out a different way. I would tell a lie and do what I wanted to do, but worked too. Right? So
What?
it worked also. Like my cousin's sister would tell the truth. Like, that's what I'm doing. Like, why don't you just say you're gonna
like
do what they said to
headstrong.
do? Like,
yeah.
Don't go over there. Like, I'm going over there. I'm like, why don't you just say
okay.
no problem? And then go over there. Why you have to do that? Like, why you gotta prove that? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I did it a different way. But I understand the point. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. All I'm saying, that's really one of the things that John and I only at this point
One agreement?
love.
Love.
That's
And
right.
we said we were gonna make it.
Right,
No
yeah,
matter
no,
what.
yeah.
We were
I
gonna
think,
make
but
it.
I think that I have a lot of, and then we still going to do a whole separate thing on just like how you formulate and decide how you're going to raise your kids. Because I think there's so many things that go into that. I just feel like, and I think we've even talked about this whole thing. In the end, like you have to do what is natural to you and what you take the effort to inform yourself on. But I always think that in the majority of the time that we are going to discipline our kids, however you define that term, it's really a reflection of who you are, right? I think it's a reflection of who you are and what you are capable of in disciplining. And so,
What's your share with everybody your theory on spanking and why we've chosen not to spank our children? What was it that you said?
I don't know, tell me.
Remember, he said we're smart.
Yeah,
smart.
Oh yeah, yeah. So my whole thing is like
outsmart your kids.
you have to be able to outsmart your kids, man. It's hard. It's definitely hard. And so also think that, but also had a personal experience. Like whenever my brother and sister are much younger than me, and so whenever they were born, I almost on myself, I took on this role of trying to be a third parent, which is a terrible idea. Like it's probably the worst idea you could possibly ever do whenever you are a brother or a sister and you try to be, unless of course you're lacking. If you're lacking a parent, now that's different. But I wasn't lacking parents. I had parents. They were good parents. So I spanked my brother whenever he was young.
Oh, really?
And I did it out of anger. And
What's the age difference?
me and him are 14 years apart.
Okay.
So he was 3, so I was probably 17 or 16 or 17. And especially being a kid.
And you never got spanked though. So
no, I got spanked a couple times, but not very much.
You of age.
Come on.
I did
Say it again.
I don't know if anybody want that.
So
spanked in the airways.
I got spanked a couple times, but in the end, especially being 17, and where you're already going through your own emotional range as a young male, so I ended up like leaving a bruise on him or something like that.
Oh wow!
And so I looked at it, I was like, I can't believe I just did that. And that it was that moment where I said to myself, I'm never going to hit a kid, like never ever, because that what I did to him wasn't. He didn't deserve that. Yeah. I don't care what he did. I don't even remember what he did anymore. You know what I mean?
At 3, what could they possibly be
not
doing
have done anything,
other than exploring life?
Right.
I've got one thing that I don't really spank my kids anymore.
Yeah.
Right? But I got one thing that
a 3-year-old can do.
Well, he's 4 now.
Oh, okay. Okay, what is this?
So he's intense, right? So fantastic human. I want to say that, in case this is
because this is permanent.
Fantastic human, loving in all ways, except for sometimes he gets intense and he gets mad and something's not happening his way, and we just can never hit our mom.
Oh yeah, I'm with that. Yeah, for sure.
So that one will cost you.
That will cost you. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And that one will cost you in a way it's gonna make mommy unhappy. Everybody's gonna be unhappy right now. You hit mommy. The whole house is going to be sad. Right,
yeah. I understand that.
Hopefully you'll remember this.
Yes, and not do it again. Right,
Not hit mommy, not hit your sisters.
Well, that's
not
different.
hit anybody.
Sisters is different.
It's not the same.
Which I had to
And not saying
you had to figure it out.
I understand, because
No,
now I
because-
make them hit each other if the one
No.
You gotta hit, but don't let anybody hit you.
No, but the sisters are older than his. So
Yeah.
so like even yesterday, like they were literally wrestling, and she's in the room. She's like, "Hey, stop them!" I'm like, "They're fine." And he swings. I'm like, "Well, hold on, y'all can wrestle, but you can't punch your sister, right?" He was like,
Wrestling has a definition.
Yeah.
It doesn't incorporate punching.
But they're not wrestling. They're playing.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
We're just like, I don't know about that.
Escalates.
But again, it escalates. But this is where we learn to manage our
Our
intensities
emotions and all that
our
kind of stuff,
emotions. And like this is like if you were at jujitsu thing, like you'd roll over and somebody might get you, and then you might have to tap. Like sometimes it's like say, "Hey, you got me."
And
Not-
those are
not
the
getting
sorts
back.
of things that I've had to kind of loosen up. Like I feel like I've come from where it's like, okay, you tell the kid one time, stop doing that. They should listen because you're the parent, and that's it. We're not going back and forth with you.
Yeah.
And to really kind of come outside of my whole, where I feel comfortable and kind of come over to his way of parenting, which is really trying to give those explanations and
I do a lot of reasoning.
Yeah, and I'm big on that. Yeah, and so for me, like that was one of the big things that I took away, from being a kid was my parents talked to me like I actually had thoughts, like I actually had emotion. Like what I actually wanted to say mattered. Right? Doesn't mean I was right. Doesn't mean they even went along with what I had to say.
Yeah.
But at least hearing me, it not only did it gave me an opportunity to express myself, but it also encouraged me to think and it encouraged me to try to deal with things. And so that's why I'm really big on it. I'm not comfortable with the phrase of "because I said so."
Nah.
Like to me, that's the easiest way to lose a child and make them feel insignificant because I hear you that you say so, but
Why are you saying
why,
such
you know,
things?
and
We're
I
giving
said
them
something.
space
Yeah.
to just be like, well, why, Mom? Whereas when we grew up, if we said, who, we already had it. Like, we could have said when, we could have said,
Was it
Wonder
Princess
Bread,
Bobby?
and you already
Right.
Thinking about tomorrow.
When will tomorrow come?
Right.
Wake up tomorrow. That's, so we, one of the things that I asked you guys off camera was about mission statement. And we talked about that in, for our last homework was creating the mission statement. You have determined we did not do our homework. However,
I didn't determine that.
I said we did.
I just laid the criteria for done. Is there one established?
There isn't a statement, but there are words, right? Because at the end of the day, here I feel like we're all on the same page when it comes to what we want for our kids. We all want, the best things for our kids. For us, we said we're family first.
Yeah.
That's important. Like you talk about your nucleus, like you guys are a family first. I say Jon, Mary, Harper, Grayson. Everybody else, you get in where you fit.
That's our team.
This is it.
Yeah.
We want our kids to dream big. We are big dreamers. We're saying go for it. Like, why not? You know what I mean? Like you guys have core values, right? You guys do the, you make them say things in the morning. What do you call that?
Like affirmation.
Affirmation. Yeah, there we go. That's a good word.
How about we all actually complete our mission statements and not just complete them, but put them up somewhere in our home so that everybody knows what
this is about.
What this is about.
How we rolling.
So,
and what we're working towards.
I'll ask, does it qualify? Because we had a conversation before, but I don't know if this is mission statement or whatever, but we, as Shopitals, have agreed that we're going to do the best we can wherever we are with whatever we have, and we're going to work hard to fix whatever we don't have so that we can be wherever we want to be.
That's fantastic. That's amazing.
But that's where the unequally yoked comes in. You guys are, if you're working towards the same mission, if everybody's working towards the same mission, then you see what I'm saying? You like that? Here we are unequal, but then we become equal. Like it's like the bridge in the gap. If we all know what we're doing and know that our differences are what make us all better. And
the cool thing about that, especially with your kids and their ages, I think putting that statement, if that's what it's going to be, doing something together as a family that like makes that what it is. You know what I mean? Because then they're not only are they seeing it, but they were part of it, and now it is what they are, just like their affirmations are. So we should definitely, even though our kids are younger, especially for Harper, because she's 4 and her brain is on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So like, you know,
He's amazing.
yeah.
He's
So
amazing.
we definitely need to do the same thing. So that will be our goal. We are going to be wrapping this up now. Guys, y'all have been fantastic.
Y'all are amazing.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
One more time, tell us, well, you don't have a social media, but you are on Facebook and you have a million
Finally,
businesses.
For the 99 in 2000.
Give me the top 2. Give me the top 2 businesses you want to put out.
Citywide Party Rentals is obstacle courses, moonwalks, water slides. We do it for lots of churches, lots of schools. Whatever your favorite nonprofit organization is, we do a lot with them.
Cool.
I'm sure of it. The other one is a joyful pool. So that's pool maintenance, repair service, weekly, monthly, anything.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Social
and
media?
so I have My 4 Walls Decor on Instagram, and that's the number 4. And then also my business is called Hypothesis Haven Science Club. It's a science enrichment program for kids where we are creating the next generation of innovative thinkers.
And you can follow me on Instagram at Jon Pierre TJP.
And Mary TJP on Instagram and Twitter. Y'all come back next week where we're gonna really dive into the whole, like, our backgrounds and how we grew up. Because a lot of people have been asking, like, Jon is black, y'all. Just want to let y'all. He is black, but
Yeah,
there's
right
some
now.
other things in there too. So we want to dive into how he was raised versus how I was raised, and how all of it has, come
To fruition.
Come to fruition.
There we go.
Yes.
And also, as you see on our Instagram and all of our social media posts, we are looking for people that are wanting to renovate their houses or buy a house soon or sell a house soon. We're going to be doing a new show with HGTV in the next couple weeks. Hopefully, we'll start filming. So contact us through our Harper Rain Homes page, through our social media. Call us at 832-608-4088 if you are a person who is looking to renovate your house, sell your home, or buy a home. So that's what we have going on, y'all. We appreciate you. And as always, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.